doing a lot with tea. We have the host governor, Governor Kawera, Kawera Bishop Mwangaza. And then we have the one who has just blown the house. The tough lady from Embu, our chair, UDA, and also the governor of Embu, Serire Barire. And I remember I'm reminding her, the president told her she belongs to somebody, to Kae Square. Your Excellency, we have listened to the issues that have been raised. We are the people running the counties, and we are the people who have the farmers. We are all well aware in this hall the challenges we have in coffee, and I do not intend to go over them. But we need to ask ourselves, now that we are in a devolved system, what is the role of devolution to make farmers benefit from end-to-end coffee value chain? I don't think I have any better team than this team I have here. And I'm going to challenge them on a few areas. I will give them a specific area on which they speak so that we are guided and we do not waste a lot of time. I want to begin by asking our chair emeritus. We all know that we have quite a lot of challenges. We have the issues of poor governance that has been mentioned here. We do not know whether the men and women running our cooperative societies are perfect in what they are doing. We have the issues of aging coffee trees. It has been mentioned. Poor farming practices, coffee marketing and price volatility, which has been ably spoken about by Cecily Mbarire. We have limited value addition, and the invasion by the sector cartels that has just been spoken. I have the following questions for you. Governor Sang, how can county governments and stakeholders work together to improve market access for Kenyan coffee, ensure fair prices, and mitigate the impact of price volatility? And as you think about that question, Governor Muthomi, how can we collaborate with the research institutions and extension services to provide farmers with up-to-date knowledge and technology for sustainable coffee production? Governor Cheboy, what measures do we need to take to address the issue of aging coffee trees and encourage farmers to replant with the disease-resistant and high-yielding varieties? Professor, I don't know how much coffee you grow, but please, to streamline the supply chain, improve traceability, and enhance transparency. And as you answer these questions, remember what Governor Cecily Mbarire has spoken about. That is the shell under which we are operating. I also want to talk to Bishop. What would be the role of counties in the digital transformation, especially for coffee factories? My sister, how will county governments support and promote local value addition and local coffee consumption? Kindly, let's have your answers.
Thank you, Governor Kaiga. Thank you, Deputy President. And I want to first join everybody here in congratulating Cec Mbarire for just hitting the nail on the head. Your Excellency, these 2 days is valuable time from the counties and from everybody seated here. But I think we will do a great disservice to ourselves if we are going to just go through the program and deal with the superficial issues. We must just be honest with ourselves. The question directed to me in terms of marketing and the pricing. Clearly from the discussions that we had just here, there is the whole question on coffee starts and ends with conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. How do you allow one individual to be the one who buys the coffee, the one who finances the processes around coffee, the ones who mills, the ones who market, and the ones who buy, all the same, and it's one individual? And this has been allowed by the law. I am completely shocked when I heard the minister, Linturi, saying that he is hearing these names for the first time. Clearly there is a problem there. If your own directorate has been able to license all these, and as a minister you are hearing for the first time, it tells you that the cartels within the ministry and within this sector are playing at a very different level. We must be able to deal with this issue once and for all. And I think as county governments, we are at the point where we interact with our farmers. In terms of productivity, we are the entities that provide seeds. For example, my county and many other counties have been supporting our farmers in terms of provision of seeds. We have been supporting our farmers in terms of subsidy on farm inputs. We have been supporting our farmers in terms of supporting and building the cooperative societies. But I think our role, if you look at once you license these brokers, these millers, and these marketers, you reduce the participation of county governments. I, for one, in Nandi County, have developed a mill, but we had to work so hard to get the license from AFA for us to do that mill, and now we are also struggling to get the license to do the marketing, supporting our cooperative societies. Why can't we allow this space to be open to governments to support the process and be able to reduce the kind of cartels that we see in there? I want to propose this because also we had a presentation by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have all our embassies. How is it possible that Baringo, for example, would go all the way to Korea, or Kipkelion would go all the way to Germany, cooperative societies go all the way to Germany to secure a market, yet we have our ambassadors and our commercial attaches in those countries, and they are not able to get us those markets? What does it tell us about the capacity of our ambassadors, the capacity of our staff that we send to our embassies in terms of securing this? If a governor can take time from Baringo all the way, a governor can take time from Nandi all the way, why can't we increase the capacity of these people so that then we can be able to move forward in that direction? I want to propose two things, honorable governors and the delegates here. I want to propose two things. One, let us open up this space and get out conflict of interest. The reason why we have that conflict of interest, Your Excellency, most probably the leadership that has been, and also the leadership of this nation previously, had conflict of interest. I'm very happy that you confided to us here that you do not have conflict of interest within the sector, within the coffee sector. Members of parliament, this law, and I realized that when Linturi was put on the spot, all of us were clapping. Unfortunately, the bill in the parliament has been sitting in the parliament for almost 15 years. What has stalled the process in parliament? It actually means the same cartels have actually pocketed even members of parliament. Why? We want to be very honest. If at the end of the next 2 days here, if we are done with the recommendations in this meeting today, and we identify a small team to put together what we have agreed into law, we want to ask Mani Chungwa, together with Aaron Cheriot and your respective committees, why will it take you more than 1 month for you to do that law and ensure that you open up and ensure that we are all able to agree on a law that can be able to move us forward? If we are going to take another 3 or 4, 5 months, it actually means that we will have given these cartels an opportunity to start influencing one member of parliament after the other until we are not able to move. So I think at the end of the day, Your Excellency Deputy President, the law will set us free. We can talk about farm inputs, we can talk about the role of county government, but if you do not sort out the legal framework that ensures that no person or no cartels are allowed within the sector, we will be here in another 2-3 years still discussing the same thing. Let us sort out the law, and we have the members of parliament here, we have senators and members of the National Assembly. We as county governments will be willing within the next 2-3 months, not 3 months, but 2-3 weeks for us to organize forums for public participation on that law so that then we can move here. One of the challenges that we have officers within our counties, when you discuss with them how to deal with these cooperatives and ensure compliance with the law, they will tell us that they report to somebody called Commissioner, is the Commissioner of Cooperatives, who is an officer in Nairobi. We do not know. I mean, these are cooperatives within Nandi County. Why am I being directed by a Commissioner of Cooperatives in Nairobi? We must be able to also deal with that particular element so that then we can be able to devolve, allow us to deal with our cooperatives, allow us to re-engineer our cooperatives. If we want to put money, I am not going to put money into a cooperative society that I have no control over, that I cannot be able to audit. Why will I put money there? So if we can open up, you will actually allow county governments to continue budgeting and put resources, because we know those resources are going to be into good use. But otherwise, if you are shielding county governments out of the running of cooperative societies in terms of auditing, then we cannot be able to put our resources as county governments. So basically, from my perspective, it all lies on conflict of interest and the law. If we can fix the law, then allow us to continue doing that which we have to do. You have already done inputs, Your Excellency. The national government, you have given us, for the first time in almost 10 years, coffee farmers are benefiting from the subsidized fertilizer. Previously, it used to be only maize farmers. Now you are already supporting it. So really, we must allow the legal framework to be reviewed, and let us do it within the shortest time possible. What says Marina has done, as I can tell you, if we don't sort out within this window of 1 month, 1.5 months, the same cartels will regroup. They might even get to our county assemblies. They might get to the National Assembly. Why don't we use this window of goodwill from the president and the deputy president for us to sort out this law and ensure that within the next 1.5 months, we have sorted out the coffee once and for all, and we allow ourselves to move forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He is a lawyer. We allowed him to a few more minutes. Chair Emeritus.
Thank you very much, our Vice Chair. From the onset, I want to say that, yes, research is critical, but there are things that don't need research in our coffee sector, even before we go into financing that research. That everybody in this room who has coffee producing constituency or county knows very well that we have an aging set of production parameters as far as value chain is concerned. If you look at the average age for the farmers, the two of coffee in our counties, you will notice that youth are predominantly absent. If you look at our production technology, you'll notice that it's outdated. It is critical that we get our youth to be interested in engaging themselves in coffee farming. And I want to ask you, as we proceed, if we have noticed around our counties when we have elections for the cooperatives, they attract more interest than the seats of MCAs and members of parliament. Even the financing is bigger. Why would a cooperative chair of a factory or a cooperative society spend more money than an MCA or member of parliament in ensuring they're elected? That is where the rubber hits the road. And I'll tell you why. Almost every county in the coffee producing zones have milling factories now, or they have millers. But it is not all the farmers who want to mill their coffee in those mills that they have actually used their resources to put together. Half of them go and mill outside. Where do they take their coffee? Why is it that we allow them to take their coffee outside? It is very simple, because we don't have a law that caps them from taking the coffee outside. Where do they take the coffee? Of course, they take them to the same cartels that we've been talking about. So as if we do the law, we need to have a law that caps the farmers from taking away coffee from their counties and go mill it somewhere else. Because there's power in numbers. You have a factory where you have cooperative societies, like 49 of them. 20 are milling in your miller. The other 29 are out there with the cartels we're talking about. You will definitely not have the value of numbers, and therefore they will fetch the less value, or they do not fetch good value for money because of their small numbers. On that particular issue, the war on the pricing of coffee is one on grading. Where you do the grading and capping is usually the millers. When you allow your coffee to go and be capped and graded by somebody else, and you're not there to see, and they give you grades on paper, how do you know that is the right grade? Because that is what has been happening. Your Excellency, That is where we lose it, because the moment we allow that coffee to go and be graded somewhere else and cup somewhere else, the results we get is just what we are supposed to believe by faith. That is what was great was all about. And that is one of the reasons why we should ensure, and I can see my cooperative chair here, he knows what I'm talking about. All farmers must mill in our mills in the counties. We can fix the issue of governance if that is the case, because we cannot do mills that are going to be just white elephants when people are milling somewhere else. The other issue is that the issue of the cartel has been over transacted. However, we have to appreciate that 2 or 3 years ago, our coffee cooperatives, or rather farmers, very few of them had direct access to the market just here in Nairobi, in the coffee market exchange and coffee marketing authority. Today, most of our counties have managed to do that. However, and I want to quote my county of Tharaka Nithi, despite the fact that we've received a license to sell coffee in a coffee market exchange and in the CMA, there are bureaucracies by the same cartels there, because they don't give our farmers the code that is required for them to be able to access the technicalities required to sell the coffee. And therefore, they have a license, but they can't sell their coffee. It is time, CS Linturi, as you revoke those licenses, you fix the issues around the Nairobi Coffee Exchange and the CMA, to ensure that every county which has got farmers that have got a license to sell can be able to take the coffee to the market without any limitations. The fact that they do not have probably money to get their way around there does not mean that they have to be limited. The fact that they don't have the okay or the leeway to be able to sell their coffee. And lastly, the issue of marketing by the ministries has been talked about here. I am very happy that Foreign Affairs has been involved, but it is not enough. It is not enough, because we need to have involvement of the county governments and also the members of parliament in ensuring that we have a marketing forum, that we can be able to have our ambassadors out there, not only talk about or market our coffee, but also involve the value chain all the way to the county where the coffee is being produced, so that we can be able to have direct market in these areas. So that's what I'm going to say.
Thank you very much, Emeritus. I want to welcome Governor Irongo and Wakili, Professor Otuoma. Yeah, Your Excellency, you can see we have some emerging markets like Nandi, like this. They don't have a problem with aging coffee trees. And I had given everyone a question, so I will also give you one. Now, Governor Irongo, what are proposed strategies to eliminate middlemen and cartels to enhance greater profits directly to the farmer? Think about that, because we are now with Governor Baringo. We are just a minute so that we can give our governor from Migori. I don't know whether you Busia, sorry. How many cooperative societies do you have dealing in coffee? You has only one. How do you improve its governance? I think that is well. So now, my governor, Baringo, kindly.
Thank you. Your Excellency, the question that has been asked by our moderator speaks squarely on how we can increase the quantum of coffee that is produced in Kenya for export out of this country. We were just told that Uganda is almost becoming the leading coffee producer in this region. And we have reduced our coffee from 140,000 tons to a paltry less than 50,000 tons. The reason is because some of the coffee producing counties have reduced production because of a change of use of land. I think what we can do is, us as governors, will need to aggressively market coffee as a product that can be sold properly, that can get money. The issue of aging coffee trees, of course, we have been, the most important thing is how do we get it back, even the aging coffee trees, to be able to produce sufficient quantities of coffee. There is an issue of extension workers. The extension workers that have been in the counties for a very long time are aging, just like the farmers are also aging. So we need to invest in extension very critically. And we need to motivate farmers to open more land for production of coffee. The moment we do that, then we can be able to increase the quantum of coffee. Of course, there is a direct motivation on the issues of marketing. If we sort out the issues of marketing the way it has been addressed earlier on, and I want to thank Cecily Mbariri for what she said, then there will be motivation by the farmers. In our county, we can have as much as over 10,000 hectares of coffee. Right now, we are doing maybe about 3,000. But if we were to move to 10,000, and the motivation is only the pricing and the marketing of coffee, I would like to commit these governors here that we shall be able to sort out the issue of extension workers to ensure that there is proper training of farmers on how to produce the best quality coffee and how to improve the quantum of coffee that is produced per bush. I was elated to hear that there is a farmer who can produce 35 kgs per bush. Just that, tweaking that. And I think the only way is through the farmers, through the good inputs, through the proper pesticides, and that kind of thing. The other thing that us as governors can do is to manage the cooperative movement. We will support our Minister for Cooperatives to ensure that cooperators are properly trained on the management of their cooperatives so that we can be able to produce and market the coffee properly. Lastly, of course, our role in the integration and the value addition process. I want to agree with my colleague, Governor Njuki here, that it is critical that we process this coffee at source. And many of us have got coffee factories, coffee mills that are in counties. The challenge with these marketers or the cartels is that they come and bribe cooperators so that they can send their coffee to Eldoret, to Nairobi, and all over. We have a coffee mill in Baringo County, but getting the farmers to bring coffee to the coffee mill is a problem because of the motivation that the cartels have in getting the coffee out of the county and being processed elsewhere, knowing that they are both the processors, the marketers, the financiers, and everything that can make the prices come down. We in Baringo are lucky. This year we were able to sell our coffee to Korea. And believe you me, we got more than 600 shillings per kilo of coffee. And this is because of direct marketing. If we deal with the issues of market, then the productivity of coffee in our counties will go high. We will even beat Uganda, and we can even get close to Colombia. Finally, Your Excellency, we may need also to motivate our farmers by taking them to places that produce coffee seriously, like Colombia and the rest. I want to end there and give it to the next
Thank you very
person.
much. As we also listen to Professor, before we do that, one time Senator Njerundwiga decided that anyone above 70 should not be in management of coffee or cooperatives. I know the backlash he got. Maybe he needs to tell us at a certain stage, because that is what Governor Cheboy has been speaking about governance, whether at 70 you are good to be a judge, but you are not good to be a cooperator. Maybe you need to think about that as we progress, and we listen to Professor.
Thank you very much, Chairman. You are right when you mentioned that Bomet is not known for coffee, but tea. But as Bomet, we have also started smelling the benefits that can come from coffee, and we have started warming up to it. And as a government, county government, we have started investing a lot in that particular area, purchasing and distributing seedlings to our farmers. And we have already 21 cooperatives dealing with coffee. So it's an area, as much as Chelugui has said, we may not need to increase the acreage, but I think it's good also to see other areas that have potential so that we can increase our productivity. I don't want to say a lot, but I want to congratulate my sister, Cicely, for being bold enough and saying the truth. I think that is what we need as a country so that we can move forward. Your Excellency, you always say the truth. And we also need other foot soldiers who can also say the truth. So thank you, Cecily. My question was on how we can leverage on technology and the digital space to enhance our productivity and also revenue that comes to our pockets. I think without belaboring the point, Your Excellency, digital space has given us opportunities. And probably that is the reason why even in the Finance Bill 2023, there is something that is coming to us in terms of a new revenue stream, monetization of whatever content that we have in digital space so that we can get money. As farmers and all the value chains that we have within not only coffee sector, but in the agricultural sector, we can take advantage of this. Your Excellency, I think the price that we can fetch in coffee, irrespective of the fact that we have mentioned that different markets have different tastes. But I think quality also impacts on that. And as a country, and particularly in the area of coffee, we have to embrace technology so that we can enhance on our quality. Even what we had mentioned earlier on, branching into different areas, getting derivatives from coffee, like what the peers had just mentioned some few minutes ago, it cannot happen unless we invest in technology. And that is one area where we need to embrace, Your Excellency. And I like the approach that we are using, multi-sectoral approach. The universities, people in the area of technology, how can we enhance productivity? Can we have your contribution? Secondly, Your Excellency, is organization of the entire chain, value chain that we have in coffee. The only way that we can be coordinated, because I think the experience that we have had is people taking advantages of our disorganization that we have in the sector, because probably a farmer in Bomet do not understand what a farmer in Meru is doing or Kirinyaga. So if we can have and take advantage of these technologies, especially in the sharing of information, I want to believe no one will take advantage of our farmers. Number three, Your Excellency, is in the area of information. Technology is coming in to bridge the gap between research and practice. I know we have a lot of information, even in Caldo. But the question is that information that is supposed to benefit us, and particularly the farmers, is that information with the farmers or with the agents who can facilitate that? That is our extension officers. As counties, we are investing a lot of resources to employ extension officers. Sometimes we may not have enough resources to take them back to school or institutions such as Caldo to be updated in terms of information. But the digital space, we can have information systems so that our extension officers are actually empowered to empower our farmers. Then
Almost finishing,
finally,
Prof. Yeah.
is in the issue of marketing. CS Udia has mentioned, what is the problem if a farmer from Meru markets his or her own coffee from the living room, sitting room in his house or her house? It will only be possible if we make use of technology. I can track my process, how it is being auctioned, the money that has been able to fetch from the comfort of my home. And that is leveraging technology and digital space to enhance our productivity and our revenue. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Professor. Now, the host governor.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Mine will be very brief. I'm asked to share some light about digital transformation when it comes to county government. And I want to go back again to where Our Excellency says from Meru about the cartels. One, when you talk about digital transformation or transformation, we talk about people who have knowledge about technology. A good example is my mother, who is 70 and above today. And those are the kind of leaders that the cartels that we've agreed that we have are forcing our societies to have. The old people that are not able to use the latest technology or cannot even access digital information. So if we address the issue of cartels, those are trickling down up to our societies to micromanage who is supposed to be the manager, who is supposed to be the chairman, who is supposed to be who and who. If we are able as the government or we agree on how to handle the cartels, the issue of digital transformation will be very easy. Because as we stand or as we sit here today, I want us to agree, or you agree with me, even though it will not augur well with some of the chairmen who we have, that the age matters a lot when it comes to digital transformation. When we have chairmen who are 80 years old, some are 90 years old, and they are the chairmen and the managers and the directors and everything that pertains to that society, then digital transformation becomes so hard for us to penetrate to assist the young farmers. And the same cartels that trickle upwards, downwards to our societies are the same people that produce or even give unto who is supposed to lead that society. Then as a county government, it's a bit hard unless we break the chain of the cartels, have young farmers who can also be engaged in leadership. I'm so surprised that when it comes to election of leaders, some few farmers are eliminated because maybe they don't have so many trees, they don't have a lot of kilos to take the factories, and these are the young farmers that can assist us in digital transformation. So I want to disagree with the leadership down for society. The foundation of everything is very important. The genesis, the alpha of everything is very important. When it comes to leadership, if we are able to clean up the leadership from the factories or the societies, then we are able to raise our societies and also agree on how to transform our cooperatives or our business of coffee to bring it to digital platforms. So, Your Excellency, our Vice Chair, it is in this conference that I think we will have a way not only to have the few people, few others, who are very able in our societies to participate in elections. We need also to involve our young people, the people with very few kilos. Let everybody participate so that we get good leaders that can assist us, that can be very available for us, that can be very transparent, that can be very accountable, rather than keeping the same leaders who have not performed for years and then rotating them back again to leaders. That one will either digital transformation. But for me, I support fully as the county government, that is the way to go. Digital is the way to go, and that is where the country is heading, that is where the whole county and the whole world is heading. and we need to embrace digital transformation as a county.
Thank you very much, the Bishop. I think we need to give her a clap. She is bold enough to say and to tell, to look you in the eye. I think she shouldn't have stopped there. She should have said, hand over the farms. Don't just hand over management. Even within the farms, hand them over to the younger generation so that they are able to move together. Even as we invite Cecily Baride, we are also going to ask her to touch, because I know she is also passionate. What is the role of women in coffee? In this problem we have here, is it because we have kept away the women who are supposed to bring flair, emotion, and all good things into coffee, and we have made it an all-male dominated, so there you are, Cecily.
Thank you, Session Chair. Let me just say it's true that the coffee sector is predominantly a male sector, partly because land is owned by men. The women just provide labor. And I'm only happy that there's a certain clause, and I hope it's looked at when those that are looking at the new law, which provides for some gender inclusion in those committees. So it's a rotational thing where every time a factory is allowed to bring a female representative into the cooperative. But the problem with that is that also they are seen not to be fit because they don't necessarily own coffee. So we need to find a way to make sure we bring more women into the management and leadership of the coffee sector, and make sure that they are well trained. I want to say that it is saddening that we are number 5 in the world, but in Africa we have Ethiopia leading at 39% of coffee. Uganda, believe it or not, is next with about 35%. Tanzania is ahead of us. And I don't believe there's anything special about those countries that we don't have. Ours is just the issue of production and management of our coffee sector. So I would like to first start by saying that, Your Excellency, I strongly believe the coffee sector now needs a special fund. Why do we need a special fund? And I know many development partners would support that. One, most of our factories are still running with very, very old machinery. The machineries that were set up in the 60s and the 70s is what they are using to date. Now, we need to improve those machineries for what is it called? Removing the pulping, yes, pulping. And buy the eco-pulpers, because the old ones use a lot of water and there's a lot of waste in it. So, and those eco-pulpers are not cheap. The factories themselves may not be able to afford. I know most governors seated here have been able to buy a few for some factories through support, through the NARIC program and other programs that are coming through development partners. But I think we need to consciously upgrade those pulpers so that we go for eco-friendly pulpers so that we can be able to do more, use less water, and there will be less wastage. Number 2, we need to consider using solar dryers so that we are not taking so much time trying to dry our beans, and in the process, some quality of those beans is taken away by over drying them in the sun every day and the handling that goes with it every single day. So if we can get that kind of money, Your Excellency, will be able to do a lot for our farmers. And then make sure that the farmers can access credit facilities, either for their farm inputs or for preparations of their coffee farms at single digits. At the moment, like in Embu, you'll find farmers are borrowing at 15%, 17%, 18%. It's completely unsustainable as a mode of financing. Let me go to my question on how do I think county government can promote local value addition and local consumption. I start by saying that I was very surprised because, I'm just first-time governor. We held an expo in Embu County 3 months ago that the CS Chelugui and CS Kuria came. And then we also held another national expo in readiness for Madaraka, again led by the Cooperatives Ministry and Trade. Now, you'll be surprised at the value addition that people are doing in their homes in a small way. Huge and very good. So what these people need, number one, is to be able to access the coffee and be able to do more value addition and scale up their levels of production. For example, we have KIPES, and County Aggregation and Industrial Park will be a game changer for our counties and the country at large. Through KIPES, we'll be able to do aggregation at the county level. We'll be able to give these people who are doing value addition an opportunity to come and add value to their coffee, and then we market the coffee, and then we'll be able to get more money going to the farmer. So I'm happy about KIPES. The governor is extremely excited about KIPES, and we are supporting it. And it is a partnership between the national government and the county government. National government is putting in 250 million. County government is putting in 250 million. Please clap for that great idea.
That's a wonderful
idea. We are hoping that through that we can be able to do more value addition, not just for coffee, but several value chains as each county is identifying. But I want to thank the national government for a very important thing they have done. They have zero-rated the packaging materials of our value-added products. So that includes coffee. Those packages are very expensive. Whether it is tea or coffee or any other product, they are very expensive. Once they are zero-rated, they make us more marketable, and we are able to compete at the world space. So, and in terms of promotion of consumption, I think each county needs to come up with an idea of coming up with their own local coffee houses. You don't have to have a Java because it's for high end. We need to have smaller coffee houses, even at village level, where we give young people a coffee maker and ensure that there's some nice work environment around there where now old wazes, mamas, everybody in the village can come and have a nice cup of coffee. I think that is what we've lacked as a country. We need to come up with a serious marketing strategy to make sure our people begin to take coffee and take it like we do tea. And somebody actually mentioned, why can't we encourage consumption of coffee in the schools? And maybe that's why we should also begin, so that our children can begin to grow with the coffee consumption culture, like is in the case in the West, so that we can make more money out of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's give Sister a wonderful clap. I thought she would say, you don't preach a gospel you don't believe in. We should be the first people. And we ask Kawera Mwangaza to sign an executive order that there shall be, that no tea shall be served here until we leave, so that we all take coffee. Yes. Because we should be the first people. Maybe just to see, Your Excellency, let's see how many people have taken a cup of coffee in the last 1 week. Or in the last 1 week. You see, it's not everybody. Yeah? Majority of us are taking tea. So I think she has thrown the challenge to us. Let's change the way things are. I believe I still have a few more minutes for Governor Irongo and okay, Governor Irongo, we have a few more minutes.
Asante. Asante. Let me first start by congratulating and saluting the great leader, the Deputy President. As you have said earlier, is that a great leader is the one that is able to face and handle decisions, the hardest decisions. I want to recommend you because today we are here in this forum just because of a hard decision of cartels. And as my questions is reflected on what should we do to increase the profit from the farmers, It has been talked by everyone. Everyone has spoken on it. It's about law, it's about alpha, it's about regulating in terms of how licenses are being given.